Think about where you were 5 years ago and compare it to where you are today. Are you at the same level as 5 years ago? Are you at a higher or more successful level? Or are you at a lower and a more bad or rough level? Where are you at? Visualize it properly, think properly, and then look at what happened in those past 5 years. Look at that timeline properly like this and try to identify what caused you to lead you where you are today. You may come up with various reasons, various things, but no matter how you progressed, if you were at the same level, if you were at a higher level, or if you are at a lower level, there is only one thing, one single thing that defines all of this and decides where you will be. What do you think that is? What do you think that one small, insignificant, yet the most impactful thing is? No matter on which level you are, your habits decide where you get. So, if you're at the same level as you were 5 years ago, it means your habits haven't changed and that you just continue the same actions again and again. If you're at a higher level, it means that you improved your habits, inculcated good habits, and those actions then took you to success. And if you are at a lower level, then it means that you got more into bad habits that deteriorated you, that created negativity around you, and those caused you to go down. No matter what it is, your habits decide your future and your life. So, in the past 5 years, no matter how you have progressed, what you need to decide now is, and what you need to focus now is, where will you be in the next 5 years? All your past habits and actions have decided where you have come today, and all your habits and actions right now will decide where you go in the future. So, it is very important for you to understand how you can build better habits, how you can take better actions and achieve success and go uphill and not downhill. In the previous videos, in the last two videos, I had shared with you the top 10 bad habits you need to overcome. And I know, and I have even felt that most people who saw those videos are now feeling that yes, these are some habits we need to overcome. We need to get over these and create new habits. But how can we do that? That is why I've made this video continuing from the past one, so that you know that whatever bad habits you have, how you can overcome them and also inculcate good habits. So let's begin with that. But before I introduce you to that, I want all of us to think and brainstorm about what a habit actually is. Because until and unless we don't understand its proper meaning and how it works, we won't be able to learn how to form better habits and all of those things that come secondary. So the first thing that we need to understand is, what is a habit? When you go on the internet, you can read as many articles as you want and you'll find a somewhat similar definition to habits. But if we have to keep it simple and keep it to the point, a habit is simply any action that you do again and again on a repeated basis. It's as simple as that. There's no fluff to it, and there are not really any other kind of definitions to it and all those different things. In simple words, a habit is just any action that you do on a repeated or continuous basis. So now that you know this, you must be thinking, how are habits formed? How do those continuous actions turn into habits, and how do we start performing them unconsciously? That is what we are going to understand now. There are many habits that we have: eating, sleeping, brushing our teeth, taking daily walks, reading, writing, keeping a journal, all so many things. But what makes them a habit? How do they turn from conscious actions that we take into habits that play out automatically? Let's understand it through the simple example. Let's say that you open up a new social media account and you're using that app for the first time. You're new to social media and it's the first time that you're using it. Go back to the time when you started it and reflect on how it was and see if this connects or not, because I'm sure that it will. So what happens is that to download that app, you create a username, you create an account, and then you're into that fresh dashboard and all of those things. You start following some people, you find out how many of your family and friends are on that platform, and you connect with them, you follow them, and you start sharing your thoughts on that. The first day you're all excited and you're like, yeah, this is something new, let me try it every day. Then the next day what you do is you're in your work and then you think that, oh, let me just see if I have got anything new on social media. You open that, then you go to your social media tab, you click on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and you start seeing the new posts that have come up. Then you get back to your work. There's no damage, right? You just saw it for 1 minute and then you're like, okay, then you're back to your work. The next day after that, you do the same thing. You'll just like, let me check what's there on my phone, and you're scrolling through, and then you get back to your work. Again and again, you keep doing this action consciously because you want to see what's new on the platform. And consciously, when you do this action repeatedly, it becomes a habit with repetition. And then what your mind thinks is, whenever you click on your phone, whenever I open this phone, the first thing that I have to do is go on to social media and check what's new. This loop becomes right here, it becomes a proper loop in your mind, and therefore whenever you pick up your phone, you open it, the first thing that you click upon is the social media app, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This is just the beginning of an addiction to social media and digital addiction, whatever it is, and many young people actually suffer from this. They have that constant anxiety and that FOMO, fear of missing out, to know what's new. That, okay, that thing happened in the world, that thing happened in the world, this is what my friends did and I have to do all of that. So all of that information continuously surrounds them and it creates anxiety, it creates FOMO, and it's not good. But that becomes a habit because we take that kind of repeated action. Whenever we pick up the phone, we go to that app, and that creates a habit. So this was a very simple and easy example of how a habit forms. And now it's time to understand the science and the process behind it and what goes on in here. Because this thing, our mind is a very mysterious object. It is so small, like if you put your two heads properly, you can easily fit your hands in it and you can hold it. But it creates so much power. It has so many things going on that it can use these two hands only to create so many different things. From our technology to our cars to so many different things that exist in today's world, it is this and the combination of this that has made it possible. So that is what we'll understand now, that how habits get formed right here and how those actions play out unconsciously. Let's begin. Now we are going to understand what the science and the psychology behind that habit loop is and how that it actually gets into our mind. There are 4 stages in which a habit is formed. They are the trigger, the desire, the action, and the result. So this forms a complete loop, and when our brain recognizes that loop, it forms that and automates it. But why does it even automate that loop? Because we don't have unlimited energy. We are not supernatural beings who are always flowing with energy and all. There are times when we are highly energetic, like I'm speaking in an energetic tone with you. I'm very energetic. And there are times when we are so sloppy and tired and we just don't know what's happening. So these are all the different kinds of stages and different kinds of energy levels we have, and none of it can be defined as like we have unlimited energy. And also that is why our mind is always trying to conserve energy, because running such a big brain and running so many of these kinds of processes isn't inexpensive. It is actually very expensive because it costs you so much energy. So what you need to keep in mind is that the mind, your brain, is always looking to conserve and save that energy so that no matter what happens, it has the energy to perform and take basic actions. And that is why it forms habits. Because until and unless you do not have habits, you would be thinking consciously over whether or not to do something, and it would create so much chaos, so much problems, that you wouldn't be able to live a great life at all. So this is why habits are necessary and why our brain forms habits. But how does it happen is what we'll understand now. The 4 stages that I told you about before are the different stages that create the habit loop. The number 1 is a trigger. Something that triggers any action is known as the trigger and the first part of an habit. Maybe you need to get ready for office and you are 5 minutes late, and that is a trigger for you to get ready quickly. Another thing is that you feel hungry and your stomach is growling, and that is the trigger for eating, that you need to eat food, and that triggers that habit and that desire and that action. So in simple words, this is what a trigger is. What if we did not have a trigger though in our lives and in our habits? Our mind would then consciously be trying to check, am I hungry? Do I need to breathe air? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And again, it would cause chaos. You cannot imagine what a life would be without habits. So the number 1 thing, that is the trigger, is a very important part, because that is what initiates the habit loop. When you are hungry, you have the desire to eat, and the desire is the second part of the habit loop. The trigger creates a desire to act on something. So it is that you get hungry and you have the desire to eat something. And now what do you choose? Maybe you choose a pizza, a burger, and all of those different kind of things. You have the desire to get to work on time, and that is why you take hurried action and you get ready quickly. So this is what the second step of desire is. The problem here though is that our mind constantly looks for desires that are enjoyable and that gives us instant benefit. That is why when we are hungry, we don't look for which healthy restaurant is on the menu or on our food delivery app. We go and check out the pizza shop, the burger shop, and see what's new that they have, or we just order a pizza or burger or whatever our comfort food is. So that is not what we should actually do, but that is what our habits make us do. So the second step is that you need to have a desire to do something. There should be a solid desire, and that is what will initiate the third step, that is the action. This is where the real stuff happens. This is when you go out and actually eat that pizza. This is where you actually get ready, wear that coat, tie your laces, and then get off to work. This is where all of the action happens, and you need to understand that until and unless you don't act upon this properly, there again is no habit. So a specific and detailed action is needed. And the fourth thing is the result, and this is what determines exactly whether something will become a habit or not. If the result is pleasurable, the mind notes that and thinks, okay, this is an interesting thing. When I'm triggered by this, I have this desire, I take this action, I get this pleasurable result. So let's try this another time. Then this happens again. It gets repeated, and that is how the loop gets fixated in the mind. I have explained this whole process deeply and all in my book Explore the New You, which you can buy by clicking the link in the description. I highly recommend that you buy this book, because not only will you gain value about habits and how to develop them, you'll also find questionnaires in habits that will help you achieve better, identify exactly what you need to do. This book also has a section where you'll find exactly what your purpose is and how you can live an extraordinary and happy life. Then this book is also going to help you create that proper action plan and goals for you to achieve success, and also it will help you develop the self-confidence and self-belief to become who you want and achieve the success you want. You see me speaking right now here, right? I'm speaking confidently. I'm connecting with you. It would not have been possible if I hadn't implemented the principles about confidence and all that I have in this book. You learn how to overcome all your fears, how to get over self-doubt, and over the 200 pages that are in the book, I can guarantee that you will come out as a new person, as it is written here. Explore the new you. So go buy this book now after watching this video, and it will actually help you achieve all that you want. So this is how you form habits and all of that works. And this 4-step system, when repeated continuously, helps us do better things and creates habits. The problem here though is that our mind does not differentiate between what is good and what is bad. It is just knows what is pleasurable and what isn't. When you have the trigger of eating, when you have the trigger of being hungry, you have the desire to eat something. And when you take the action of eating a tasty food that satiates your taste senses and it helps you feel good, that the result is that you feel pleasure and that your hunger is satiated, and that loop gets fixed in your mind. The next time your mind goes out and it's like, okay, I'm hungry, that loop continues and you start eating unhealthy food. The first few days, nothing will happen, and the immediate reward is so gratifying and so great that you don't feel any problem. There is nothing stopping you, there's no problem, and all of that is like, okay, your mind thinks that this is the best thing. Whenever I feel hungry, I should do this. In the same manner, whenever you feel bored, the trigger is that you feel bored, the desire is that you need to do something. And then with that desire, you take an action of watching a movie on Netflix. When you take that action, your mind thinks and gets the result that this is pleasurable, I am so entertained, I am so happy. And it repeats the loop all over again. The problem with this though is that this kind of loop creates bad habits. The kind of habits we discussed in our last 2 videos. You can watch the part 1 by clicking up here, and you also can watch the part 2, which will be linked at the end of this video, and also if you can click up here again and watch it. In that you'll learn exactly what bad habits you need to overcome, and most of them are actually formed through this process. But what happens is that when we go out to form the good habits, we don't get that immediate and great result. Most of the good habits that come in our life that we need are actually immediately painful and unpleasurable, but they offer great rewards in the future. You have the desire of eating, you have the trigger of eating, and you have that, okay, I need to eat because I'm hungry. You have the desire to eat something, and in the action stage you choose something that is immediately gratifying, that has been fixed in your mind. You don't choose a salad over a pizza, and that is the problem. But there's a solution to this as well. What you need to do is keep an immediate reward for your actions. If you want to start eating healthy, what you need to do is keep an immediate reward for eating healthy, and keep it directly linked to it, and keep it as immediate as possible. So it can be that every day, if you eat healthy food 3 times, in all 3 meals you get to watch a movie each night. Simple. You have that desire that, yeah, I need to watch that movie, so maybe let's just eat healthy and then watch that movie. Simple. That way you have to create secondary rewards that you can rely on, that give you immediate pleasure but do not spoil your efforts. So it does not mean that you're like, okay, I'll eat healthy, and if I eat healthy meals in all 3 times, I'll keep the reward of eating 2 scoops of ice cream. It won't make sense at all. So keep actions and keep immediate rewards that don't affect the actions you have taken, and through those secondary rewards you will start building that habit. Then what will happen is that as you repeat those actions continuously, the mind will automate that process, and then it won't be about the reward. As soon as there's the trigger that, okay, I need to do something, you have that trigger in your mind, the process will start, and your mind really won't care for the reward. That's how much it automates actions. So this is the way you can form good habits. And now, how can we get rid of the bad ones? We can also get rid of the bad ones using this loop only. Make the activity as immediately ungratifying and unpleasurable as possible. Keep a secondary thing that gives you pain, that gives you a punishment, and that way you will stop doing that. Let's say that you have the habit of binge eating, and if you do that, if you eat excess food than what's required, and if you don't eat healthy, you keep the immediate punishment that you won't be able to watch Netflix right now or for the coming month. Keep that kind of thing and tell it to your family members, tell it to your friends, so that you're accountable. When you create this kind of immediately ungratifying actions, you will be able to get rid of the bad habits and actually form good ones. So, this is the exact process of how habits work and how habits form. And I want to address one more important thing here. It is that we read so many things that habits take 21 days to form, 66 days to form, and all of those things. That is true though. But what really matters is how often you repeat that action. If you do something once every day, and if you do some other thing once every 30 days, it is more likely that the first action will become a habit and the second one won't. So, the only way to actually develop a great habit is to put your reps in, keep repeating that action, and soon it will be automated. So, this was all about how you can form habits and how habits actually work. Again, a reminder, go buy this book right now because you will learn these concepts even more in depth. Because you spend hours reading a book and you cannot actually explain all those things in one single video. So, go buy that book because I know that you deserve to lead a great life, and if you do this, will be your first step towards it. So go buy that book. That's your first action right now. And the second action that you need to do is comment below and tell me which stage of the habit formation were you struggling at most. Whether it was keeping a good reward, understanding the trigger and the desire and the action result loop, whatever it was. Keep that in mind and tell me what loop or what stage were you the most stuck at. And then another thing that I want to tell you is that subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon and like this video, because in the next video we are going to discuss something very important, again related to habits, that will help you develop more good habits and achieve more. So stay excited for that because that's coming around in just the next 2 to 3 days, and I'll see you there. Thank you very much.